What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to talk to you about ChargePoint. I want to go over some of the current data points, what's been coming out from the company itself, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off on Friday, it did go up 1.77%, $1.20 the high, $1.13 the low. So kind of showing some signs that it does want to move higher. And for those of you that have been following my channel, last time I did a video, I think it was at like $1.20 something, where I stated that most likely it was going to trend down to roughly that $1 range. That was based on the technicals and just the market circumstances at the time. And it did have a low of $1.05. So it bounced off of that general area. So in my opinion, I think just based on the technicals alone, ChargePoint is kind of due to go up. But one thing that they did come out with recently was the date of their earnings, which is slated for December the 4th. Looking at the current estimates though, the bar is so low that ChargePoint could easily beat it. So right now, earnings per share is -9 cents. Revenue is 97.7 million. That is very, very low. It essentially does equate to, I'll give you a quick overview of that. It does essentially equate to 66.71% year-over-year growth for the earnings per share. And then the revenue is -11.41% year-over-year. Still though, the market has been really pricing in like significantly worse than that. So like I've stated, I think just the expectations are so low that ChargePoint could easily beat them, prompting kind of a push higher even from here. And just generally speaking, ChargePoint with the current market cap of 496 million, that is a little bit too cheap, if you ask me. One thing that's been really plaguing ChargePoint on a side note is just lower and lower volume. And whenever you are somewhat heavily shorted and you have low volume, you're kind of at the mercy of the larger entities and what they truly want to do. So in my opinion, with this upcoming earnings, that might prompt a lot more institutions to really pay attention to it. So we'll just have to wait and see. But as of right now, there was only one big transaction on the secondary market over the last 90 days, and that was done on November the 4th. That was for 269,000. It was a buy. So hopefully, because of their earnings, you'll see a nice push higher and more institutions paying attention to it. Surprisingly enough, you had a couple new analyst ratings that did come out last little bit. So kind of surprising to see this level of analyst ratings prior to their earnings. But you had one from Benchmark, $3 buy rating. You also had a $1.20 hold that was done by HSBC, Wesley, who has a 67% success rating, and then Michael has a 50. And then you had a downgrade, Needham, Chris Pierce. No price target was given, but Chris Pierce has a 36% success rating. So you kind of have to take that for its face value. Should be working at like fast food, but aside from that, all the ratings, even though a lot of the bearish ones are out there, the average consensus is $2.31, and that does represent a 100% upside. You don't see that happening right now in the market all too often, seeing this level of potential upside. So this is where, in my opinion, with the recent or upcoming earnings, you could see a good level of institutional value investors getting into ChargePoint. So let me know your thoughts on that. Like I've stated though, it is very heavily shorted and manipulated. So 30.61% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 121.82 million shares overall are being shorted. On Friday, shorts did return 772,000 shares. Cost to borrow average is fairly high, so 21.88. That is an annual rate, not a daily rate, so just kind of be aware of that. Utilization 99.56, and then short score is 91.95 out of 100. So the higher the number, the higher the likelihood of a squeeze happening. And just generally speaking, looking here, shorts have been very much against ChargePoint, increasing the position from the low in mid-October, where it was 27%, to where it is now. So shorts have been really suppressing ChargePoint when the broader market has been rallying, and this is obviously why it's been lagging. So Let me know your kind of viewpoint on that. Looking at options. So on Friday, there was 84,000 in calls, 52,000 in puts. Kind of low dollar value, matches with just the overall common stock, but 65% of all the options being done were optimistic and bullish. So that is a nice change of events. Based on the call options that are being purchased, you see a consensus for it to be above roughly $1.50 for this upcoming week. And then surprisingly enough, for their earnings, which is slated for December the 4th, you see some optimism for it to be above $2. Looking at the bears, they are anticipating for it to be sub $1.50 for this upcoming week. So in my opinion, a lot more upside is anticipated, but ultimately right here with it at $1.15, it is trading between this S1 and this S2. So $1.12, then 101 will be the following support levels, and then $1.19, $1.30, and then $1.41 are going to be the next strong kind of targets / resistance points. So it did bounce off of this general S1 area on Friday, so just watch for that to be kind of a pivot for it going forward. And just generally looking at the chart itself, so I'll quickly go over here. So I do have the ALMA 50-100 200-day moving average, super trend, stochastic RSI, and then as well volume. So starting off, looking on the actual chart itself, I'll quickly zoom in here. So based on the last 2 trading days, it was fighting to break out. And so kind of did have that temporary bottom. So it is currently above that ALMA, showing signs that it does want to move higher. Very wide gaps on this chart as well. So the next kind of point to watch for is that 50-day moving average, which is roughly at $1.30. So like I've stated, I think that might be the next big thing as long as they can stay above the ALMA. Stochastic RSI, very oversold, so that could really work in its favor for this upcoming week. There's a lot of big money looked for value and stuff like that. So I do realistically see a lot more upside to come for ChargePoint, and with the low expectations for their earnings, that could really stand to benefit for it to kind of get up there. In order for it to get up there and stay there though, that is where the company does need to give good future guidance. So that would be over and above essentially just the key metrics that investors care about. So earnings per share, revenue, and a lot of other ones. On a side note, if you ever are looking for a lot of good information, take a look at IPKR. So it has the Elliott Wave technicals. If you're ever looking for analyst forecasts for upcoming earnings and a lot of the key metrics that people generally care about, then yeah, pop over there, take a look. I have a link to this in the description below for it to be completely free, so recommend a lot of individuals to kind of pop over there and take a look. But like I said, I think in reality for ChargePoint, this might be a pretty good time to buy, and that's exactly why I did state in my last video that if you kind of were patient and bought in around that $1 range, that's where the low was going to be. And from here on out, I feel with the low expectations for the earnings, then just the market optimism, ChargePoint can move up higher from here. So let me know your thoughts. Hopefully everyone's having an amazing weekend thus far. Do you think that their earnings is going to be that dagger that really pushes them, for instance, below $1? Or do you kind of think that kind of agree with me that it is going to push higher? What's your viewpoint on ChargePoint? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And then one final thing I just wanted to share with you, I did launch a Patreon where I'm giving buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto, and they've been absolutely killing it. So pop over there to take a look. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.